So, update since last time I showed myself playing this game. Team is leveled up a bit. I spent like a half hour hanging out with the dogs while I was watching some videos, and this is where I'm at after this point. Uh, Strong enough that I can just sort of cruise through whatever else is going to go on up to, uh, the end of Liquid Flame and a lot of bosses going forward. So, just put frost rods on my two characters. Just booted up from the save, so I'm ready to go. The next plot event is to go into the fire ship to talk to the queen of the fire kingdom of Carwyn here and tell her, hey, maybe turn off your machine. It's made every other... The amplification devices have made every other crystal explode violently. Maybe we should... We don't want to fight defeaters because once they're defeated, an enemy called Motor Trap comes down. Motor Trap is a way to learn self-destruct early. I don't think you can learn Rocket Punch from them. I think it's just self-destruct. But you have to cast a lightning magic spell on them to encourage them to self-destruct. One of the other things to notice, Crew Dust also casts Flash in case you want Flash for stuff from Blue Mage. When you equip an Elemental Rod, it improves the damage of your elemental spells that you cast, and it can also be used as an item broken to cast a Aga level spell. I don't remember if the amplification gets taken into account with that or not, but I am very strong at this point, and I can one-shot any encounter. I don't get much benefit out of it, but I can. 500 damage is a... Well, that's also multi-target. I don't know if they're weak to it also. I do not remember nearly enough about the Liquid Flame fight because two of Liquid Flame's phases are weak to ice, and one of them absorbs it, I believe. I don't remember what the Poltergeist does, but it seems to be immune to elemental magic, so I do not want to fight it. Alright, so this room here is a place that's going to be seen a lot because it's tied into a puzzle room up above. So you crawl through the vents, enter through this extra door here, then you ride it all the way up to the top. There are two... I think this is the one that goes directly to the end, and I want to go other places first. I'm looking for the green beret in all of this. The green beret is a useful item. This is the Thieves' Gloves. I think you can only use them if you are in the Thief class or, freelancer. It increases the rate that you obtain items while stealing, I think. But that's not useful to me because I'm not a thief. And I will never be able to steal until World 3. This gets me up here. Okay. So this is another side path. This is the path with the green beret. And then there's one more path that is a complete... it just sort of loops around. It doesn't get you anything else for doing it. It's just sort of a waste of time. So I'm just going to go straight to the end then. There we go. The Moonring Blade is another thief item that allows them to do full damage from the back row because they're throwing a boomerang. If I walk straight forward, that would lead me back up to the four-way path split. And now here is the last save point before the Liquid Flame boss fight. There's a little puzzle to get the elixir in that treasure chest there that boils down to, did you hit this switch? And then once we'll get all the way to the end, it'll be pretty obvious what I mean by that. fight two of them. You can hit this switch, take yourself back to the entrance if you are not quite prepared for things, but you can just press that, get here, elixir obtained. How many do I have? Elixir, 9. That's good. And we'll run. Alright, it's time for Liquid Flame. Liquid Flame might be a difficult boss under normal circumstances, but for me, just sort of hanging out, saying hello to the dogs, hanging out outside Carwyn, I'm far stronger than I need to be, and I have access to ice magic, so this will go pretty quick. Liquid Flame always counters when it goes through a form, and I just need to be careful about the hand form, I think. Is it the tornado? I think it's hand form. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to swap the Frost Rod for dagger and attack, and hopefully I get something else out of it. Alright. Person form, I know, is vulnerable to getting hit with the ice spell, so I am going to do that with Lena, and that's probably going to end this fight. Actually, it might have a bit more HP left in it. And we're back to hand. Hand will cast Fyra, so that'll kill anybody that isn't Galef, but I'm feeling lucky. Tornado form. The tornado form heals Liquid Flame, but in addition to doing that, it'll cast Fyra on itself and heal itself. If I had a different party composition, I'd want to keep track of which form I killed Liquid Flame in, because that would give a different item. But for me, the Flame Bow is alright. You can also get a Fire Scroll and maybe a Fire Rod? Need a bit of water. So the queen was controlled by something that made her do the bad things. Not quite sure what that is, but hey, we're going to find out. So, interestingly enough, the amplification system for the fire crystal was turned off at some point, and then that guy was mind controlled to run in and turn it on, just like the queen was mind controlled to summon Liquid Flame to fight us. But now the crystal's broken, but we're not going to be able to get its shards yet. We have to escape. We gotta run. Okay, that's a save point. Definitely going to hit that, but this heals you fully, so definitely good to come there. Then I will save. I am strong enough that I should be able to get everything from here. So this is, as people call it, the Karnak 500. It confuses international players a little bit why we call it that, because they don't know what the Daytona 500 is. But that's okay. The fun thing about this fight, only the sorcerer is continuing the fight. The dogs do not want to fight, and if the sorcerer is not present, they will run away. The fight will still end. So if you are struggling with DPS in these fights, defeating only the sorcerer will allow you to escape quicker. Up here is the ribbon. I don't need it, but I am going to get it anyway, because I am strong enough and can get it. Where is... I think since I'm playing on wait, the timer stops when I'm menuing in the middle of fights, so that's nice to see. 3 APB is also not terribly bad either. If you were just white mage, these fights might be a little bit rough, but I have 2 red mages with me that can cast boosted spells, so this will not be terribly difficult. Black Mage might be a little bit better for this because they have a little bit higher magic stat to cast with, but everything's going to be fine. The Goliath Tonic doubles HP, I'm pretty sure. Ooh. Saucy. The Sergeant and his Kurnax will show up occasionally. This is another good way to show off that the dogs will run once they don't have a master, but this is faster. So, let's just send them off. With the Sergeant fight, if you kill all the Kurnax, he will say, "Can't take the hint, huh?" and he will run off. The Sergeant is the final boss, quote-unquote, of the Daytona 500 here, of the Karnak 500. Money chests are not trapped, but there aren't that many of them, and like, wow, 2,000 gold. Such a great thing to get out of a chest. But, yeah. I don't think Blizzara is going to kill them both. Nope. He still has his knife equipped. During a fight, I ought to swap that back. Because, yeah, what the difference of like 100 damage or so between Lena and Galuf there entirely comes down to the fact that Lena had a rod equipped and Galuf did not. Another thing I should consider doing. Doesn't really matter. Oh, he has a flame rod. My mistake. I don't know which of these spells casts the fastest, but maybe I should consider using only one spell that casts quickly. I have roughly 7 minutes left, and I have a couple more trapped chests up here. I might want to throw an Ether before the end of the Karnak 500 here, or I can settle for just snapping a couple rods and being done with it. All of the elixirs available here are going to be very useful to me going forward. For chemists, they can be used as mixed ingredients, and even if not, they can just be consumed to get the full... Wow. Galuf. Taking his sweet old time. But elixirs for the full HP and MP regeneration in some of the longer fights in the game, that is extremely useful. Yeah, if you were a blue mage in this fight, you would be able to pick up the arrow spell. Giants also cast... Do they cast Era here? I think that comes a little bit later. Maybe? Goodbye, Sergeant. I'm not happy to see you. I'm a little surprised I got to him before his dogs started doing anything, but that's just helpful. Oh boy, silver plate. I had enough money that I was able to equip everyone I cared about fully, so... Nope. There we go. Defend. Still have 5.5 minutes left. There's one treasure chest down here I'm looking to loot that I think is in Elven Cape. There was a Mon Gauche on the other side, which I believe is French for left hand. It's a dagger that when you put it in the hands of a character, allows them to block physical attacks. So you can be really good at just telling some boss fights just, nah, I don't feel like dealing with physical attacks today. And those fights just kind of get stuffed. Between the Mon Gauche and a whole bunch of... Oh, it does cast Era. Alright, cool. Okay, and she's finally out. I don't feel like breaking rods at this point, so maybe I ought to take an Ether or two. I think the ethers are more expensive in the long run, but I'll probably end up buying a stockpile from licks, and then I'll just sit on them for the entire game, and everything will be fine. These two chests up front here are Isuna, which is good for White Mage, and a Lightning Scroll, which is good for the Ninja class. But, you know, I don't have a Ninja, so I'm just going to grab it anyway, because this team is strong enough to just loot everything in the Karnak 500. Oh, that was the Lightning Scroll. This is Isuna. Alright, fine. If you were a party of White Mages here, and you really want to get Isuna, because it's useful for an upcoming boss, you would have to skip many fights just to get here, and then swing with flails to hopefully get you through. It's rough, but there is one use for Isuna that sort of makes it worthwhile. I am actually going to demonstrate rod breaking here, when, you know, maybe I should have done it earlier in the fight, but let's look at what breaking a rod does. So it casts a much stronger spell than what would have otherwise been cast, and the fight's over. 3:44 left on the clock, so 6 minutes and 16 seconds is a reasonably good time to complete the Karnak 500 in. The castle, now that it is no longer on fire, explodes. 5 of its crystal shards are sent out. 2 of them fly past us into some other place. Beastmaster, Geomancer, and Ninja are here. Ninja is a really strong class. Geomancer doesn't have all that much going for it, but it exists. And Beastmaster is a tricky kind of class to use. With its capture command, it has an answer to most any fight in the game, but it takes a long time to just get what you need. Is he hanging out here? He's not hanging out here. He's hanging out above the bar. That's where Sid is. Did I play the piano here? I don't remember if I did or not. But there's a flame rod up on top of the ramparts. I broke 2 in the fight. I've still got a massive stockpile of them, so it's nice to be able to just pick up a couple extra on the way. I don't remember if I have to talk to Sid. He's not here. Okay. He's hanging out on the fire ship, I think. Okay. I did not level up the piano, so I did come here and play the piano earlier. Sid's somewhere. I had to say hello. Hello, Wholesome Witch. I ought to hop into a... Okay. Of course there's no game audio. Right. If I'm doing other things on my own time, I turn it off so I can listen to videos through the computer, but I did not do that. So, Sid's here. He built the ship. It's moping. Should have been a bit more diligent about checking that before I went through here, but there's somewhere else I need to go. These turtles are important because they drop something called a turtle shell. The turtle shell is useful for my team in specific once Chemist finally joins the fray, because turtle shell is a mixed ingredient. Turtle shells can be mixed to make turtle soup, which has enemy defense. It can also be mixed to give protectant shell in one shot, and there's a couple of other good ones too. Zoos can drop elixirs, which is nice because it's a full HP and MP recovery, but I don't need to fight them at this point, so I am vastly overleveled for the part of the game I'm in, so I ought to just be pushing forward, continuing as best I can. The desert has this guy, the Drone Chimera, who is a very rude fellow. I am going to cast a couple spells at him. Maybe he will demonstrate why he is such a rude boy. But did I think I equipped him. right? There's probably an Ice Rod on Gallop. Actually, when's the last time I saved? Alright, let's see where Aqua Breath takes me back to. Okay, that's not too bad. I guess that's because I'm in a bunch of mage classes that doesn't hurt as bad as I usually expect. But, Aqua Breath is a multi-target full party attack that is learnable with blue magic. It costs 32 NP and is very useful only against fighting desert enemies such as Drone Chimera. There's a grass tortoise here, so I'm going to fight it for the turtle shell, but otherwise I would just skip this fight and run. I'm coming up here pretty soon on the library, and actually I'm going to want to hang out here for a little bit because my characters are all level 20. Inside the library are encounters with textbooks, with books, and they have a spell called Level 5 Death. If they cast Level 5 Death, it will kill everyone in my party. Instantly. There's nothing I can do about it at this point. But I'm feeling a little bit risky. So I'm just going to head inside and hope for the best. Another thing to note that I did not note in the stream announcement or anything, I am playing the Game Boy Advance version because A, it emulates particularly well, B, it's the most well-documented version of it, and there's a couple of interesting patches out there for it. In the forest surrounding the library, the encounters change a little bit. The bee is encounterable out on the world map, but the Mithril Dragon is a new encounter for the forest itself. Mithril Dragons have a blue magic called Transfusion, where if you can somehow charm them or trick them into casting it on your party, it's a full health and a full MP regeneration at the cost of their life. I don't know what at this point you would have that would allow you to inflict that condition upon them. So this is the Library of the Ancients. We're here because it's the next place we can go, but even beyond that, it has a free healing pot right there, so that's nice. So let's demonstrate the book encounters. The book encounters are these kind of guys here. This dude is page 32. Sometimes when you defeat him, the page will turn to a different page. In this case, page 64. Page 64 is the one with level 5 death, so I always want him out of here as quickly as I can get him out of here. And then he decides the fight's over. Those fights can go any which way. They are, like, all of the forms they're going to go through is known from the start of the fight, so it shouldn't be particularly surprising whether they choose to transform many times or a couple times. There is one really rare book encounter that you don't see all too frequently called page 256. Page 256 has a blue magic spell called Moon Flute, which berserks your entire party. It does nothing else. Moon Flute is, it's blue magic that you can get. You can use it, but you can't use it as a trick to give something berserk. You just get berserked, and then fight's over. So, it's a nasty trick that they can play unless you have, like, unless you have hard-hitting physical classes. Some of the bookshelves are just rude. If I had talked to the other librarians, they would have said something about some of the books being possessed and they need to burn the books. That's what they were doing up on the top of the roof. So, we need something that can burn the books to get through here. It's not enough that I did that before going through, but we'll need to do it ourselves with somebody a little stronger than us. So, I am going to prepare for that fight right now. So, in this game, there is the Summoner job. Summoner calls elemental spirits and such to come and fight for them. Here in the library, responsible for keeping all the books in line is Ifrit. Ifrit has Blaze, which hits the entire party. I believe he is weak to ice, so if I felt like it, I could just snap an ice rod and be done with it. I feel like, you know, I've got Red Mage, I might as well cast a couple spells here. But if you were looking to go easy, you'd snap an ice rod and call it done. Another thing he can do is he has an attack called Flying Knee, which, you know, hits for a reasonable amount of physical damage. I think it has a chance to confuse, but, you know, he barely survived 2 spells. He's probably not going to survive a 3rd. Yep. So Ifrit is a full party fire attack that's about as strong as the Fire spell, and if you are... excuse me. If you have Summoner, I believe it's a little more mana efficient to cast Ifrit and hit an entire party than it is to cast Fyra and hit the entire party. I do not have Summoner, though, because my jobs are White Mage, Red Mage, and then Bard and Chemist. But I'm going to go back to the Flame Rod because everything else in the library here is weak to fire, and eventually I'm going to reach a boss that is also weak to fire. I do not need to fight this guy, so I'm just going to run away. All the books here have, well, I think all of them but one have a spell that can be learned by a blue mage. Bookshelf tries to be a jerk, but Ifrit is with us. He's not going to let it happen. Alright, let's see what this does. And my run is over. Well. Nice. I flew too close to the sun, was too haughty. Wanted to not have to grind up to level 21. It happened. Oops. Level 5 death, everybody. Level 5 death is learnable blue magic, so if you have a blue mage, which unfortunately I don't, you can get yourself access to level 5 death. Some bosses, like, there isn't anything that can stop level 5 death, so if you can make any bosses level 5, then you can hit them with level 5 death and instantly kill them. It bypasses their reaction scripts, it bypasses death scripts, it just instantly kills them. So, imagine in this game, if you could adjust enemy level at will, because that's totally a thing you can do. Eventually I will get access to the Chemist class, where I can mix a Dragon Fang and like an Elixir, I think? Or Dragon Fang and a Goliath Tonic? I don't quite remember what, but I can mix something and increase enemy levels by 20, or increase anybody's level by 20. So I can hit the enemy with that until they max out at level 255, and then I can kill them with level 5 death. That works for any enemy in the game. Chemists can also break enemy scripts without having to check against anything. Whoo! This was risky. Cast Fyra. Ooh, page on 256. Well, that's lucky to see, but I don't want to see him. Okay, this is a good one to run away from. The Tiki guy there was page 256. He can cast Moon Flute. Makes everyone in your party really mad. My team of mages will not be able to beat him up and take him down in time. So, we are absolutely not fighting him. I will cast some spells to avoid fighting him. Frost Rod. Frost Rod. And this time maybe I'll break a Frost Rod because I've got a couple extra. Yep, there's a cast of Fyra. I'll cast Blazara. And he will break the rod, and we'll be out of here in no time. Yeah, Frost Rod, 2,700 damage compared to 1,100 damage that was being dealt otherwise. Yeah, breaking rods is extremely strong, and look at how much money I have. The cost of a rod is 750. I can break rods for the rest of the game if I felt like it, and things would be fine. I don't need that level of power. Oop. I am not a fan of you, page 64. I bet he's going to turn into page 256 immediately after. No? Oh, this is... The library's trolling me. Please, leave. It's just a single level. It's just a single level. I could have gotten myself, 2,652 EXP, and I would have been safe. Yes, Final Fantasy V is, a job system based. So I am playing for the, Isuna for Corona event, which is a sub-event being put on by the people who do the Final Fantasy V 4-job fiesta. There are many classes I can choose to put my character in, but the classes I have access to for this challenge are White Mage, Red Mage, Bard, and Chemist, because they are the best, like, doctorial jobs for, like, taking care of somebody over the course of the game. So, White Mage is, it gets all of the white magic in the game. Red Mage, which is... Where's the fancy hat? Here. Gets a little bit of red, a little bit of white, a little bit of black, and then at the end of its tree, it learns something called Dual Cast. Lena and Galuf are currently working towards Dual Cast, but notice how that 69 over 999 number. That's how much APB it takes to master that ability. For most fights at this point in the game, I'm getting 1. For special fights, I'm getting 3. It will take forever to get there. Meanwhile, Nate and Ferris here have 300 to go for whatever the last ability of White Mage is. I don't remember what it is, but they have access currently to level 6 White Magic, which is the strongest that it goes. I'm at the point of the game where I only have, like, I can buy 3rd level White Magic spells, and I have a 4th level spell. Hello, Dr. Pokénam. I picked up Isuna early because it was in a chest. Oh, hello. Oh, these books, they won't go away. Leave me alone. Okay, I can run from this guy. It's safe. So, Dr. Pokénam, how are you too? I'm doing fine. I am playing Final Fantasy V for the Isuna for Corona event. My hubris has killed me at least once in the library here. The big blue skull guys that pop out of the books have a spell called Level 5 Death. My entire party is a multiple of level 5. It kills me instantly. So, there's nothing I can do if I get hit with that spell. I am in a library full of enchanted books, and the books sometimes... Page 128 is the only page I have not shown off thus far. It's a weird spider bug thing. To be honest, your hubris was probably what will kill you IRL. Yeah, well, I'm probably going to end up dying in my bed with a heart attack, like, eventually. Okay. Back attack is not good, but I need to win this fight so I can get access to the save point, right before, the boss here. So, the upcoming boss is known to be a colossal jerk. He won't be a problem for me because I can break a rod over his head and the fight will be done. But it's, you know, it's nice to have a save point before going in here. I have filled with such hubris that I won't even take a tent to heal myself up to full. We're going straight for it. Hello, Biblos. Biblos is a nasty dude because he makes it really hard for physical fights to win, but I can just snap... I thought a single rod would be able to do it. Well... Arg! So this is the end, but only for me. Very soon, the Master Seal will be blown wide open! Yeah, Biblos is a demon, lives in a book. And there he goes. He's gone. 7 APB and an Iron Draft is what we get for beating him. I'm fast-forwarding through the story here because I've seen it at least 30 times. He found a book on how to improve the fire-powered ship that nearly exploded earlier in this game. There we go. And he was going to go talk to his grandpa, just like, hey, I found this cool thing to, like, fix the book we did. And we're like, hey, you know, Grandpa, the book exploded, he did some bad... Not the book exploded, wow. the boat you're talking about exploded. You know, he was really sad about what he did. This is a game that originally came out on the SNES. I am playing the Game Boy Advance port of it because I know it the best. There are glitches exclusive to every version of this game, and most of them work here on the Game Boy Advance ones. The good ones do, at least. Yeah, I like the mountains reflecting off the lake in the background there. That's a really cool thing, I think. But yeah, this game looks pretty good for its age. Mid, the grandchild, is mad that Grandpa Sid has given up on life because he did a bad thing once, recently. So he is now going to go and straighten his grandpa out, so I need to go and find them. Whoop! Avoiding the desert because Drone Chimera is there. Only about a third of the Game Boy Advance's library are original games. Now that I can believe. Goodbye, Zoo. There is something in this game that I am looking to... Goodbye, Zoo. No thank you, sir. There is something I am... No thank you, sir. Go away. Okay, now I need to go find Sid. Usually I would look... Like, I know exactly where Sid is because I've played through this game many times previously, but we're just going to go say hello. We beat Mid here somehow because he's a child. I don't know how he got past all of those giant birds, the Drone Chimera, the turtles, the bees. I don't know how he got past all of that, but he managed to sneak past everything to get here to Karnak to immediately pick a fight with his grandpa. I am going to trigger the cutscene on the ship. So Sid is immediately back in full health, doing stuff. Grandpa, our 68-year-old party member, sees some parallels between grandchild Mid and this mysterious girl that we haven't seen yet. Galuf remembers he's not originally from this world. He came to seal the evil warlock Exdeath, who is presumably Byblos' master. But they are going to give us command of the boat, and now we can sail. Yep, we've got a boat. So I am going to take a save here, take a small break, and I will be back soon. So let's grab the text. Then I should be able to say properties. Be back in 5. Okay. And then I will make that big. Whoa. Haha. Alright, cool. So, I'll be back shortly. Okay. Let's put the headphones back on in case anybody wants to hop in voice chat. Co-host Uncle Jack currently. Cat, pat the cat. Okay. So, now that I'm back, text. Cat. Make it that big. And then game capture. Hide. There is cat. Look. Behold, cat. Alright, we have beheld the cat for enough time. So, save the game. And we continue. So, the place that I need to go to now is in the bottom right-hand corner of the world map there. Is that sort of crescent-shaped moon. But in the top left corner of the map is a special village that I can visit now. In the bottom left corner, sort of surrounded by the mountains, is another village I can visit now. I don't know how useful it is to go to either of those two villages at this point, or to wait for another mode of excuse me, I feel like I've got a burp. Or wait for another mode of transportation to appear. But I'm going to first go check out some of the islands in the archipelago, sort of circling around the bottom there, and the one directly above the Crescent Island. So, on the ocean, a lot of the enemies are weak to lightning spells, so I will equip the Thunder Rod onto Lena. Galuf will take a Flame Rod. These rods boost damage of spells, so I will hopefully be able to sweep through encounters with them, assuming I won't be able to just run away from them. Let's see. Okay, there is something else in the world that I can show here. And look at that! There's a strange ruined building in the middle of those mountains on this island in the middle of the ocean. Huh, weird. Wonder if I'll ever go there. Anyway, that's a mystery for another day. So, I am going to try to go to an island in the archipelago down here to hopefully show off, this the one? Not the one? This is the one, I think. Okay. Okay. Now, it's time to do something dangerous. Stalking this island, I believe, stalking the archipelago, is a special set of monster encounters here. Prototypes. Prototypes are useful for me to fight because they drop something called... Well, that's not what I was hoping for. Can I damage it with anything? No. So, the robots are very strong, they are very good at killing. I'm not going to be able to fight them, it seems. That's too bad. I was hoping to be able to do that. The robots drop an item called Dark Matter, which is a mixed ingredient for a class I'm going to get soon called Chemist. And Chemist is a job that allows you to mix ingredients to do things. Dark Matter allows you to do a lot of really powerful attacks, and it also allows you to mix up special status conditions to hit other people with. Since I'm out on the world map, I can use Tense to heal myself 1000 HP and 100 MP, which is, you know, about as much as I need for this point. But I thought I would be able to break through the Prototype's magic defense, but I can't do it. They have 5000 HP, and that's a bit too much for me at the moment. This island here is special. It is shaped like, you know, a flame. A little bit. If you are playing this game for yourself, this is a good place to come and grind in case you need it. They have a blue magic spell called Dark Spark, which halves your level, and it's very useful for blue mages, not particularly useful for me, but what I care about is I should be able to take all of these guys out with a single elemental spell. I guess it depends. They're really resistant to ice, it seems. It might be fire. Fire might be the element I want. Or I might have to just, Flame Rod, Red, Fire. No, I just gotta suffer through. Alright. Well, that's okay. Thunder Rod, yeah. As long as you don't cast Ice Magic, you should be able to beat them. So, what I ought to be doing is just snapping a rod over their head, instantly winning this fight, because they give more money. They give more money than a rod costs. They give 3 AP, they give a lot of EXP. If you need to acquire a lot of EXP in World 1, Black Flames are a good place to do it. And I could spend some time grinding here at Black Flames, but I am not going to do that, because I am already strong enough, and I want to continue moving the game forward. So the next thing to do for the plot is to walk into town here. Apparently, this island is beset by earthquakes. And we have to go make sure our ship is okay. I don't know why an earthquake would do something about the ship, especially when I landed it right next to the town, but oops, look at that. Whirlpool opened up and took my ship. Well, goodbye, ship. It was nice while it lasted. I had a little bit of freedom to explore the world, but now I have none. So, we're stuck here. Thanks, old man. So, let's see if I can show off a random encounter here. There's a... Okay. Berserkers are a special encounter, or harvester, as they're called. They drop an item called the Death Sickle. The Death Sickle is extremely useful in this game because if you have a class called Berserker, you can equip them with the Death Sickle, and they have like a 1/3 chance of instantly killing whatever it is you're fighting. The Death Sickle allows the Berserker to pretend to be it is among the best classes of the game in World 2, because many bosses in World 2 are weak to instant death attacks, so being able to just instantly inflict that is a very welcome thing to see. So, I'm going to win one fight against them because I can, and then I will continue on to other things. There's a sort of a weakness to random encounters. Oh, I've shown you guys once. I do not need to show you again. The elemental spells, well, I'll explain it in a little bit. Like most Final Fantasy games, this game has chocobos. Not always do you have to play a minigame to catch them, but this one you do. So this chocobo was out and flying around when the castle exploded for not being on fire anymore. But something seems to be not quite wrong with it. Or something seems to be wrong with it. It swallowed up some of the crystal shards from the exploding castle. And now I have my third class that I need for this challenge. So, let's put somebody in Bard. Ferris, you will make a good Bard, I believe. Now we just have to find Bard. Bard. So, Bard, as a class, gets the Sing job command. Sing is a relatively useful ability because, let's spread the Elven Cape out to someone else. Elven Mantle. Yeah, this will be good. Okay. Bard is, in my opinion, like, the best class in this game, period. But it's going to take a long time for it to become the best class in this game. Bard is able to sing spells that... Whoop, hello? Mighty March. Mighty March is the first song that Bard gets. It alone isn't going to make Bard particularly good, but it's something to do. So, Ferris is going to do it. Mighty March grants regeneration, which in this game is based on level and stamina, I believe the stat is called. Sometimes it's called vitality, sometimes it's called stamina, but stamina it is in this game. It's like level times stamina, or level time... I don't remember what the formula exactly is. But, yeah, Mighty March is not a particularly good start to Bard, because regen is not particularly useful. Another class called Time Mage has had regen for a pretty long period of time up to this point. Can I check the map while on the bird? I can. So, there are two places I want to go now to empower... Yeah. My main character is getting slightly better at playing the piano over time. There is a side quest for Bard where you have to play all 8 pianos in the world, and eventually that guy we just talked to will teach us a special song that is, like, I think it increases your level over time in battle, and it is, like, one of the things that makes Bard the best class in this game. But now where I intend to go, I intend to pick up some more songs for Bard. The world loops around if I go off the bottom there, and to the south and west here, there is a special village that we can only get to by flying on the Black Chocobo. I could not have got it from the boat. Actually, this isn't it. This is the first dungeon of the game. Here it is. This is my main character's hometown, Lix. So, his name is Nate. People will recognize Nate while he's back here. There's a very special guy I want to find here. We used to hang out like we did in the old times. Such as here, where we were playing hide and seek when it was in the evening. And you, Nate, ran to this house, climbed up on the roof where you would never be found, hid behind the chimney. From morning through the day to the evening. Nobody found you. Nobody was ever able to find you. Nobody was going to come, and then you nearly slipped and fell off this 3-story building. Good job, Nate. And here's this friend. When I was a kid, everyone teased me for being dumb, but now I'm gonna be a scholar, cause I'm SMRT smart. Alright, dude. Hope that goes well for you. Since Nate is a local celebrity, you can buy things for discounted prices. So I'm going to just stock up on a couple tents. Ethers are usually quite expensive, so I'm going to grab a bunch of them now. 40 MP is not much, but being able to cast them being able to restock in the middle of fights later is good. Another weird thing about Nate's hometown is that ninja equipment is here. Like the kunais and knife they can wield, shurikens and scrolls get thrown at enemies, and then they sell green berets and ninja suits to be equipped by people. And I still haven't put those on people yet. Interesting. Well, it's time to do that. You get a green beret, you get a ninja suit. You get a ninja suit, you get a green beret. And Ferris just gets what she's got. Nope. Down the stairs. Come on. So there's more than one reason to come here. Part of it is the cheap ethers. Another is we have to visit Nate's previous house. Take some time and look around, such as this music box. It reminds Nate of something that happened in his past. Man, that's a flashback from Gundam Seed Destiny. Anyway, the bard who's moved into the town teaches Alluring Air. Alluring Air is a song for bard that inflicts Confuse on all enemies. Confuse is a very powerful status effect, and being able to apply it to all enemies for free is very good. So, multi-target status effects that are free is something that Bard is really good for. It makes them obscenely powerful in the short term, even though they can't, like, fight enemies particularly well. I'm going to fast forward through this a little bit. So, we saw, that was not a confusing melody? No, it's not particularly. But we saw previously that, Nate's mom died before his dad was going to wander out into the world, and here he is, carving, his father's name onto her gravestone, spreading her ashes. This is Nate trying to, I don't know, sort of tie up a loose end here. But that's all that needs to be done here in Lix. So I probably won't need to come back to do anything else. So I'm glad we were able to, you know, take a look at Nate's hometown. Say hello to some people he hasn't seen in a long time. The next place we need to go is in the top left corner up there, where another song is. I'm going to get this all out of the way here because it makes Bard much stronger. There are a couple of things to note in this town here. This guy up here sells, I think, black magic. Oh no, he sells time magic. He sells a bunch of level 3 time magic, I think. This might be the first point where you can get it. I'm not entirely sure. The armor shop here, this guy sells rings. And the rings are extremely powerful, and that's why they're extremely expensive. The flame ring absorbs fire attacks. If, depending upon your party composition for the Forge of Fiesta, you may need one of these to be able to survive a hard boss fight coming up later. The coral ring absorbs electrical attacks, and the angel ring resists the status effect old and zombie. There is a boss coming up that inflicts old, and old slowly decreases your level from, like, whatever it's at. I'm currently at level 20 all the way down to level 1, and the scaling based on level in this game is extremely strong. So you will go from dealing like 400 damage in a hit down to 12 damage in a hit. And the boss that you fight is extremely rough if you get hit with that status effect. So the good news for me is I have White Mage. And White Mage has a spell that I picked up in the Exploding Castle called Isuna. It can cure old, so I will not have to deal with that, so I won't have to buy an old ring. I'm just going to hold on to all of the money I got. There's something special here. There's a flower patch. He says something about frogs coming out. Well, let's play in the flower patch. Out comes a frog. And then we examine where it came out of, and we get the spell Toad. Toad is a black magic spell that inflicts the status effect Toad. It's sometimes useful, I don't end up using it ultra frequently. It's got a real bad attitude. Getting kicked by the sheep is the only way over the fence. And this bard will teach me Romeo's Ballad, a song of love, soothing enough to move the hearts of any who hear it, even monsters. Romeo's Ballad inflicts... Hello, old man. There's a treasure hidden behind the waterfall. Alright, thanks for telling me. Romeo's Ballad does work on monsters. So this is the waterfall the strange old man there was talking about. And one of the things that I'm pretty sure happens late game is by the time you can finally come back and get that treasure, this village is no longer here, so that old man can't tell you to come here to the waterfall to pick up the treasure. It's very strange. Anyway, no encounters happen while you're flying around on the bird, but I need to trigger the next phase of the story, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that started. So a cutscene starts as soon as we get to the Ancient Library. If you don't really know where to go with this game, there's a good chance you have to go find your nerds. They're not particularly, saddened by the fire ship, sinking after they gave it to us. Just like, oh yeah, go have a fun adventure on that fireboat. Well, sorry guys, I sunk it. Ah, well, we don't care, it's cool. Bees. Not a fan of these. Okay. So, coming up is a boss fight that is notorious for a couple of teams not being able to handle it particularly well. I don't remember what he's weak to? And I'll give 2 flame rods. We'll see what happens. Bees, leave me alone. Silence is a status effect that doesn't last particularly long. Yeah, maybe I should have fought that for the tortoise. I don't think it matters particularly much. So, the next thing we need to do is we need to cross this desert because the father of this girl, Lena, was seen floating across it. And we care about what happens to him because he's probably going somewhere. So, this desert is like a weird conveyor belt section because all the sand is flowing around, making it really hard to get any place. And Sid and Mid think they have a solution to get us where we need to go. So, they're going to summon a sandworm, and we're going to fight it. Mid tells us not to use magic on the sandworm, and he is a liar. I will demonstrate that magic is actually good to use against the sandworm, and I will explain why he tries to warn you this. So, this is sandworm. It will pop in and out of these holes. Sandworm is a very random boss. It moves at weird random times, and I'm never particularly happy to fight this guy. What rod do I have equipped? Flame rod. Okay. So, part of the problem with Sandworm is he can move at nearly any point. So, if you hit the holes, they counterattack with the effect of you falling into the hole and, you know, the gravity of the situation hurting you. So, as long as you don't target every single hole, you will be able to get through this fight particularly easy. Sandworm has an attack called Quicksand that just hits everyone, inflicts HP leak, but I'm not particularly worried about HP leak. Romeo's Ballad. If it's singing the song, that apparently does... Oh. The songs can trigger the counterattacks from the holes. Well, Ferris sang, and those 2 characters fell in holes, I guess. Good job. So, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate the power of Bard in this fight. It's more readily apparent in random encounters, but I won't have the chance to show that off, I suppose. But the good news is I have White Mage. I can sandbag through any fight in this game because of it. The green numbers that popped up right there are because of regen, because of Mighty March, so, you know, that's kind of nice. It helps a little bit in this fight, but it's never going to patch up how far you end up in the hole from the counterattacks, assuming you just target the entire party. I would not be particularly surprised if the Sandworm decides to move at any point and just, nope. But yeah, if you have only physical attackers, this fight can also be rough because whenever the Sandworm isn't up front, it's considered in the back row, and it takes half damage. If you have a class called Berserker for this fight, Berserker is uncontrollable and does whatever it wants. So Berserker will fight any of the random holes, trigger a bunch of counterattacks, you end up very far behind, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you roll Berserker in the Forge on Fiesta, it is recommended to kill the Berserker before coming into this fight. Berserker is also recommended for Liquid Flame, which I fought earlier in this stream, but, you know, sometimes the best thing you can do with Berserker is just kill him. Alright, Sandworm's done. We're giving the Black Chocobo to these guys to sort of compensate for breaking their boat, and now we ride the shifting sands. I do not particularly care about any of the fights in here, because they do not have anything to offer me, so I am going to run from all of them. I'm gonna go... not there. Here. Yes. And now I'm out of the Desert of Shifting Sands. One of the fun things about the Desert of Shifting Sands is there is a pyramid in the center that you can go and visit if you get your path just right. But I am not going to show that off because it will take a lot of time. Save the game. Down here, I believe you can find the Drone Chimera again. Yep, there it is. Hello. Goodbye. I do not need Aqua Breath, so I will not be fighting you. And then down here, we get encounters from the city that's hanging out down here. The city directly underneath us, Jakol. Bombs show up along with something called a Bio-Soldier. Bio-Soldiers are strong enemies that counterattack with a spell called Bio. It is a 4th level black magic spell that does a lot of damage, and it just hurts a lot. So I do not want to be fighting them because they like to counterattack with that spell. We have to play hide and seek here with Lena's father, and we just have to see him one other place, and then we can come back up here and trigger the final thing. But otherwise, it's just meandering around everywhere before eventually we get led back here. The big reveal in this scene is that Ferris and Lena realize, hey, that's our dad. We're sisters now. So it's a big surprise for Lena because, hey, now I have a sister after all this time. It's a big surprise for Ferris because, yeah, I'm a pirate captain. Guess I'm a princess now. But yeah, there's a strange device here at the bottom of the ruins that teleports us across the entire world. Very strange machinery, very unstable machinery. It's very hard to leave this place with everything shaking. Well, the good news is we're safe. Meanwhile, Sid and Mid try to return the Black Chocobo, do a good deed. The grandpa-grandson adventure is continuing strong, I'll say. If we push the switch, something will happen. Remember all those earthquakes that were happening? Remember when the fire ship got sucked down earlier in the stream? Well, there's something going on under the island here. And now Sid and Mid have been pulled into it unexpectedly. But we hit that switch every time we want to come up here. I'm going to save quickly because I want to, and then we're going to explore the little bit in these ruins before going further forward. There's some beds. We can sleep. Restores us to full health. Then there is a bunch of treasure chests over there that we can grab. There's a switch here. If you push the switch, it sends you on a chase through to figure out what you did wrong. But if you don't push the switch, you can choose to pull it. If you pull it, you get access to the chests. And I don't want to do the little mini game to figure out that you're supposed to pull it instead of push it, because I played this game like 30 times. Mini is a status effect spell for White Mage. You cast it on monsters, and it makes them small. When you are small, you hit for much less damage. Another thing you can do is you can make your own character small, and you can essentially make them immune to physical attacks by doing that at some point. So we're walking right across the bow of our fire ship here, and then we come up over here to some other ship with propellers on the top side. I wonder what this could be. We compare notes, and then Sid and Mid head below deck. I wonder what they have to say. Don't bother me, boyo. I gotta turn on the airship. So, the airship can fly now. Or, the airship can fly now. Yes, astute. Good job. We now have an airship. Wow, amazing. Thanks, Mid. Something is dragging us down. Creepin' crawdads. So anyway, this is Cray Craw. At the beginning of the game was a boss fight against a boss called Carla Boss. Cray Craw is Carla Boss 2.0. It's a way to sort of see how far you've come along in the game and what you can do. Unfortunately for Cray Craw, it is deathly allergic to lightning, and two Thundara spells will take care of it with Thunder Rods equipped. So, they tell us that we've now got the fire-powered ship to go do stuff with. And Now we have an airship to fly around the world. I should have flown the other direction. I'm going to go to Jakol now. I could have gone here with the I could have gone here with the boat, landed on the far side over there, and walked all the way over, but that's a colossal pain. It's also, like, the encounters on the map there are not particularly fun to deal with, so I don't really want to do that. I am looking for something in particular in this town. There is a pub in this town, and at the pub, there's a piano. I need to play that piano. It's up the stairs. Pub's over there. Alright. It's piano time. Oh yeah, there's something else we can do here. We can say hello to this dancer. We can dance. Come on up and join us. And you on the other side of the screen. Let's dance. One more time. Ta-da! It's just a cute little thing you can do. So this is piano number 5. Unfortunately, this is the last piano we'll see for a very long time. So, whatever Nate has just played there, that's all we're getting out of him for a while. Jakol sells some reasonable equipment, so I'm going to check what it is. I don't think I need it. Sage's Soup Place. Yeah, sure, we'll get some of those. That's an upgrade for the Bard and for the White Mage. And then down here, something that I'm going to want to acquire. The Mage Masher is useful because it can inflict silence. It's good to have one combat trick because there are a couple bosses that'll be useful against. And the Coral Sword always does lightning damage on hit. This is another trick that I might need later. Consider it a Chekhov's gun, if you will. They sell some magic here. I'm pretty sure they only sell one type of magic. It's white or black. They sell white. And I have all of this magic already. To review the magic that I have, the white magic I have all of level 1, 2, and 3. And for black magic, I have all of level 1, 2, and 3. Unfortunately, Red Mage can only cast up to level 3 black magic, so I have no more reason to acquire any more black magic. So, back to the world map. There's one last place I can go before I decide to advance the plot, and that's this cave here. So, there's another half of the cave lower down on the other side of the mountains, but we could just skip straight to the backside here by just flying in. This cave is unique because it has some strange encounters with squirrels here. I don't know if any of the debuff spells work on this guy. Alright, Romeo's Ballad seems to work, so let's see what Charm does. I guess Ferris just wanted to sing. Well, the squirrels, the Nutkin as they're called, are good for AP. They have an attack called Incisor, which hits for a reasonable amount of damage, and they're pretty weak. But there is a problem with fighting the Nutkin, that there is a monster in here that is a recolor of the Nutkin called the Skull Eater. The Skull Eater is extremely tough, probably on the level of the prototype that I encountered earlier, and I don't want to fight it. It will use an attack called Incisor that will deal 1,500 damage to a party member, instantly killing them. It just hops up and eats your skull. It might be a reference to the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but I don't entirely know. I need to tell Ferris to not sing. Like, it's good to have like special tunes when you walk into battle, but this is getting a little bit much. Will Alluring Air work? Yep. All of them turning sideways like that means that they were all affected by the spell. They would choose not to attack me at that point. They pick fights with each other and then hopefully hit each other and knock each other out. Hey, what's that over there? Oh? The encounter rate in this cave is also a bit higher than other places I've seen this far in the run, so... Hey, look over there. Oh, it didn't get them all that time. I think how well this... I think the effectiveness of the singing is determined by character level, I think. So, the higher level I am, the better chance I have of them listening to commands and turning around and looking the other direction. So Ferris has just learned an ability for getting 25 AP with Bard. Ferris learned an ability called Hide. Hide takes the Bard out of the battle and makes it so that they are completely invulnerable until they stop hiding again. The first 4-job fiesta I went through, I did a Chaos run, and I was given Bard, Geomancer, Samurai, and Chemist. Hello, Skull Eater. Goodbye, Skull Eater. But the boss that's coming up next... Okay, not next, but there is a boss coming soon that was very difficult to deal with that team. Oh no, the town of Ruin is now a space fortress. Well, what do I do about that? Time to go talk to my nerds. But yeah, this boss that I ran into, nope, not quite. Yeah. The boat being so fast sometimes makes it hard to land where I need to. So they saw the spaceship, and then they say, hey, we need some adamantite to get up to the spaceship, to empower the flying boat. Well, we know where some is, because our old man friend, Galuf, says, hey, I came here from another world. I flew in on a meteorite. By the way, I had adamantite to power my meteorite to cross the dimensional boundaries and go from the other world to here. Well, might as well go grab that from my meteorite. So... Oh, no, come on. Yeah, there we go. Save. So I'm going to prepare for the next boss now, because there's a boss guarding the adamantite. Who would have thought? So, this upcoming boss is the Adamantoise. I don't know if it's born out of the adamantite or if it's just really happy to be hanging around the adamantite. But it's the Adamantoise, and we're going to pick a fight with it. The Adamantoise is really good at blocking physical attacks, and it has a special attack called Turtle, which hits 2 party members for a reasonable amount of damage. So, instead of dealing with that, there's a special trick to it. Most monsters in this game are weak to fire, blizzard, or thunder, and figuring out what a monster is weak to is sort of based on what its body is, what its body composition is. Yes, there are some really big trees here. Anything that is cold-blooded is generally speaking weak to blizzard. Anything that is a machine is generally weak to thunder. Anything that is a like a beast or an animal type thing is generally weak to fire. So since we're about to fight a cold-blooded monster, can I charm this guy? I don't remember if I can or not. Let's find out. Nope, don't seem to be able to. That's okay. Since this is a cold-blooded creature, the turtle, we can cast blizzard spells at it, and it does a lot of damage. The Adamantoise has about 2,000 health, so I am going to just cast Blizzara at it a couple times, and I'm going to win. So, this team makes most of these, like, in the 4-job fiesta, some fights are harder for some teams than they are for others. Like, this is a really bad fight for anybody that's relying on physical attackers. As you just saw, Galuf hanging out in the front row just took, like, I don't know, 350 damage. You don't, like, keeping ahead of that is really difficult with some parties. So being able to just damage race with casting these high power spells makes this fight much easier than it would otherwise be. Additionally, I'm pretty sure I could snap the ice rod and just immediately end the fight. But now I have the adamantite, and I am going to wander out to go back to my nerds, power up the boat, and then we will be able to assault the Sky Fortress. Yep. As soon as I can... Yeah! I gotta circle and come back around, you know, as if it's a real airport. I need to get more water. My throat is a bit parched. And as I go and do that, I am going to get to a point where a cutscene starts playing. Alright. Weird. I dreamt that the airship was already finished. Ta-da! So, we could get to the Flying Fortress by flying higher, but there's a problem. They've got guns on that big hunk of rock up in the air. Yo-ho-ho and stuff. Time to take flight. So, now, we can assault the airship from any point in the world, but I'm going to go find some place where I can get some free healing. Right up here. Now I just gotta park. Yeah! Alright, so, this is the Wind Shrine. It was the first dungeon of the game. It's technically second, maybe? But there is a... Excuse me. There's a free healing pot hanging out there, so anytime I want to go back to full health, I can just pop back here, pop back into the Wind Shrine, heal myself up to full. It's nice. So, it's time to attack the giant Flying Fortress. It's got these 4 cannons on the outside of it. The cannons can be two... There are 2 encounter types that can happen here. One is the flamethrowers here. Flamethrower is a blue magic spell that is like a reasonably powerful fire attack, but it's only single target. And like 2 of these is not particularly difficult to deal with. Flamethrower just does like an okay amount of damage that I can heal off with the Kira. If you've got a more physical party, this is a this is more of a damage race kind of fight. But I am plenty strong at this point. I can handle this particularly fine. So I'm just going to experiment and see if what these guys think about song. What if I sing my love to you? Darn, machines don't know how to love, it seems. But I like how you can see the airship flying in the background there. You can see its plank descended, and that's how we got over here onto the fortress to pick this fight, it seems. It's really cool. I'll keep casting Kira because I don't have all that much else to do. I am probably going to start breaking some Thunder Rods because I am just kind of getting tired of this. Alright, victory achieved. And speed shakes. If you get the other fight. Alright, here's the missile launchers. These guys suck. I hate them. Okay, missile missed, but Rocket Punch. Rocket Punch confuses your party member. No, stop that. Don't. Oh, well, you know, it helps if I have the Thunder Rod equipped. Well, let's cast Thundara with the Thunder Rod and see how that does. Hey, that's much better. He actually has a Thunder Rod equipped, though. Well, this might work out if I just... Well... Great. Love it. Yeah, I'm not messing with this anymore. Goodbye. That apparently wasn't enough. Oh no. I said, I'm not messing with this anymore. Great. 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 Actually, wait. How's everyone's HP doing? I ought to heal. Kira. And Kira. That's good. So, one of the things to note is that anytime I can just sort of fly off to the side and... Oh, no. No, we're breaking the rods. We're not dealing with this again. Sometimes Rocket Punch will miss because it has to check against the magic evade of your character, and sometimes your magic evade is big enough that it just doesn't hit. Alright. Missile is a... I think it has... Does it have the white magic ability, or is that somebody else? Can't quite remember. Flamethrower at least is blue magic, but I don't remember if the missile launchers, if missile is an ability that you can pick up from those guys or not. I thought that was something that had to be saved for a lot later. I think you can get missile there, and I think it's a... As I remember, it's a pretty good spell because it knocks off, like, 75% of enemies' max HP. So there are a couple of enemies late in the game that have really high HP totals, where you can just sort of blast them with that, and then the fight just gets a lot easier. A lot quicker, per se. But only some bosses are vulnerable to it, so it's a neat parlor trick. It's not particularly useful. Flamethrower will get outpaced over time, so you get it while you can, you use it while you can, and then you just sort of drop it along with everything else. These guys have a lot more HP than I thought I gave them credit for. Well, should have been breaking the Thunder Rods instead of doing this. But my party is, I'll say, optimally set up for the fight that's coming. So, I'm going to cast one more healing spell, then this should be enough to knock him out. Congratulations. Speed Shake. 2 of them. Then we look at the flying island. I don't know why everything's shaking in midair, but it's got a big gun. So, before going to fight the big gun, I am going to wisely retreat. I am going to save my progress, and I am also going to heal back up to full, and then we will tackle the flying island. I dislike blue magic systems in most of the games I've done. Yeah, part of the thing about Final Fantasy V is that, like, this is, I think, where blue magic was first introduced, and this is, like, peak shenanigans you can do with blue magic. Blue magic can trivialize a bunch of bosses, and it's, like, extremely powerful in this game. So, Soul Cannon can be a roadblock of a boss if you are, no, I'm just going to break the rods against this guy. He doesn't deserve to get any sort of mercy. So, Soul Cannon can be a bit of a block if you are a physical, mostly team. These 2 explosions that are going on here are 2 rocket launchers on his back, and now the White Mage doesn't have anything to do. Bravely Default was like that too. Between that and Alchemist, the game was broken. Bravely Default was broken for a lot of other reasons besides the blue magic, because, like, it took until, like, World 5 or something, like, halfway through the game to even be able to get blue magic. But now's the point where, like, this is a... I keep switching between a bunch of different thoughts. Soul Cannon here is a damage race boss, and the 2 launchers that were hanging out on his back hit you with missiles that inflict old. Old allows you... Like, it slowly lowers your level, and it makes it harder to win this fight, but then in addition to that, It also, what's the word I'm looking for? It inflicts no. It inflicts old, and it does half your HP and damage. Might as well attack with her. So you're slowly dropping HP, you need to pick yourself up off the fight, and then the attack that the Soul Cannon is charging up to at this point is an attack that will blow away half your maximum of HP, and it will inflict a status condition called HP Leak. HP Leak will slowly drain your HP, so you cannot survive 2 Soul Cannon big beams without healing. But since we have lightning magic, we can probably DPS it. If you're a more physical class, you'll probably get shot once or twice by the missiles, and your party members will get olded, you can't do anything with them, and they just become useless at anything besides tossing items to keep everyone else at full health. Back to Bravely Default 2. The ninja class, I remember being particularly broken because anything that wasn't explicitly a spell allows you to... It can be dodged by Utsusemi, and there are a lot of bosses that just only have attacks that can be dodged by Utsusemi. And then the stillness skill from... is it Alchemist? Yeah, it's Alchemist. That is the thing that really breaks that game in half. So, yes, Alchemist and Stillness, as you correctly mentioned, is something that just breaks that game in half. But then, like, in the time between Stillness going, you can use the Dark Knight for its ability called Minus Strike. And as you fire off Minus Strikes, I believe it takes HP, or it has an ability that drains HP to do damage. And the more of its HP it drains, the more damage Minus Strike does. So safely behind your Stillness barrier, you can drain all of your HP, and then you can and then you can just Minus Strike, and it does like 4 nines of damage. You just brave through it, and yeah, Bravely Default is not a balanced game at all. I reached the final boss, and I never beat it because I just was not a fan. Actually, let me demonstrate something here. These enchanted fans can be hit with either Charm or Confuse. I think it's Confuse. And then they will do something? No, I think it's Control from Beastmaster. Dang, I was hoping to demonstrate something. Oh, this'll work. Okay. So, the enchanted fans in here are vulnerable to the Confuse status condition, and it does something. The fan does. I mean, aside from hitting itself. But yeah, Bravely Default was not a balanced game. I made it to the final boss. I never completed that game because I was just so tired of it by the time I hit the end. Its looping thing that did at the end was not fun to deal with. But yeah, these guys cast White Wind. If you are a blue mage, if you have some way to confuse these guys while you're here, you can get White Wind for yourself. It's absurdly powerful. It makes blue mage into like one of the best healers in the game. Blue magic is insanely strong, and it's fun to go out of your way to just get a little bit of it if you're just playing this game normally. If you're playing in fiesta conditions, blue mage is still extremely strong. The blue magic in... Honestly same, I got to the last world, then my save corrupted, never went back. Yep. And now they're making Bravely... Okay, so Bravely Default was, like, the original game. There might be a mobile phone game before it or whatever, but Bravely Default was the game that came out on DS. And then they made Bravely Second, which was an improvement on many things. And then, now, they announced at, like, the last E3 or something like that, that they are making Bravely Default 2. So, instead of calling it Bravely Third, instead of calling the other one Bravely Default 2, this, the third game in the series, is Bravely Default 2. That... It takes some guts to do that, but hey, this is what we get. Yeah, Bravely Default was also a really strange sort of job system thing going on. One of the things that differentiates Final Fantasy V The systems in second were nice, but the way that they butchered the characters was not appreciated. Oof. I would not know. I will take your, I will let you tell me that that's exactly what they did. Yeah. But, one of the things about the job system here in Final Fantasy V, when I put somebody in a new job, let's say I would go to Knight, I can, like, it has the ability that comes with it, and I can only put a second ability in there. I did this to demonstrate, and now I'm forced to go through all the work to put them back. Oh no. But anyway, optimize. Yeah, I think this is right. Helmet mantle. Yeah, I think I'm good. Oh, whoops, forgot to put the Sage's Supplice on. And we'll give her some cool shades. But yeah, any kind of character development is gone. Edea is now just a character girl that likes food. Yeah, part of the problem with Bravely Default is, like, a lot of the characters got sort of reduced down to a couple gimmicks, like Edea shouting "murder" or whatever it was. And, like, some character development happened in the first game, but, like, Part of the other problem with, like, the world loops is that Edea had to kill her dad on the first loop, like, her mom died of the sickness or whatever, and then as you went through the further world loops, she, like, her mother was able to survive and hang out or whatever. Yeah, it just really strange. Anyway, but a lot of that stuff was optional compared to, like, getting the true ending or whatever, but I walked in a very particular way to reach these treasure chests. That's because there are trap holes here in the ancient fortress. Did I come down from here? Am I supposed to go this way? I went the wrong way. But yeah, there are some holes in the ancient battle fortress here, because, you know, it's old, it hasn't been flying around for a very long time. But it's funny how they're in the treasure room, and then there's one other hole, and that's the only thing we're going to see for a very long time. If you have the Geomancer class, you can see these holes before you fall into them, but don't really need to worry about that. Let me go. I do not want to fight the old toads. But yeah, one of the nice things about Final Fantasy V... Oh, speed trap. Don't fall in. One of the nice things about Final Fantasy V is this game rewards you for either running away or for fighting every single battle in the entire game here. At the end of the game, I will have a choice between a weapon called the Chicken Knife and the Brave Blade. The Chicken Knife scales in power with the amount of times you run away, and the Brave Blade starts at maximum power, and then its power decreases for every time you run away. For this challenge, I do not have any jobs that can wield the Brave Blade, so I will be going for the Chicken Knife, which means I get to run from grind spot to grind spot to grind spot, and just sort of ignore fighting a bunch of difficult monsters or troublesome encounters along the way. So, Final Fantasy V rewards you for just kind of like picking and choosing your fights as you go, and I am going to make as much use of that as I can. There is a branching path here. I don't remember which way is the correct way forward. Yes, this is where I want it to be. I don't know why invisible pathways are a thing here in the ancient fortress, but they are. Hello, Hydra. Hydra is a jerk of a boss fight that I don't want to fight. There's a more powered up version of Hydra here that I also do not want to fight, but since I haven't found him yet, I'm never going to fight him. So, now comes what's a couple runners I've seen affectionately call Snurb. Snurb is a 5-phase boss fight that shifts through elemental gimmicks. This damn Clapper Claw is causing me problems. Make yourselves useful and fight it. Rough guy. Anyway, this is Archaeo Avis. He's a jerk. I don't like him particularly much. He starts out very resistant to physical attacks, but very weak to magic attacks. So I'm going to hit him with magic to start with, because I can. What do I have? Flame Rod. Okay. Sap slowly drains your HP. and I'm not happy to get hit with it. I wonder if I can Isuna that away. I sure can. Nope. Well, it was worth a shot. I don't think Ferris will be able to, yep, hit him with any of the songs. But yeah, Snurb is a more difficult fight for physical-oriented teams because they have to carve their way through this first phase. So that lag time that we just saw was an indication that it has swapped from its first phase to its second phase. One of the phases... Yeah, let's throw up some buff spells. One of its phases is resist... So the next 3 phases it goes through, one absorbs fire, one absorbs ice, one absorbs electricity. So I want to use the magic it is not immune to at the point. Okay, it's using frost, so it's probably absorbing ice at this point. So I'll hit it with fire until the screen sort of slows down again as it swaps scripts, and then I will, and then I'll shift to using ice and ice weaponry against it, and then I'll be good until it hits the final phase. But yeah, this is Snurb. If you are a team of pure mages, you will have trouble at the end of this fight because it becomes immune to all magic, and magic is how I am dealing with this boss in the short term. So I'll eventually have to fight it out. But red mages, okay, it's changed phase. So I want to swap to my ice rods at this point, and I want to start casting ice spells at it. Yep, there's Blaze to confirm it. Blaze and Frost, I think, do like a quarter of your health and damage or so. But yep, I have a white mage. I can cast Cura every turn to just sort of take care of that. So I'm not particularly worried about getting hit with... wrong spell. Oops. I could just kind of... He's not got anything useful to do. He can just kind of wait. She can wait. Then I need to remember, swap to... Oh, there's a flame rod there. Frost rod. Place. And I'm good to just cast Blizzara until we get to the final form. Eventually, I will have to take the fight directly to it with whatever I have on hand, but that time will come shortly. But until then, I'm just going to protect. I'm just going to defend with my White Mage and my Bard. The sunglasses on Galuf right there are indicative of the blind status condition. If he swung a physical weapon, it would be harder for him to hit. But the good news is, ice or magic is not targeted in the same way that physical attacks are, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to Isuna him now, just to sort of keep things moving along. Archeo Avis has a couple of attacks it can use in the meantime to just sort of make you a little angry, but they're not that difficult to deal with. I'm only worried about any of its spell attacks at this point, because I can just throw up Protect, which halves all physical damage. So I'm not, like, this is not a hard fight. White Mage makes any fight a safe fight, but a long fight. And Red Mage is just fast enough to get me through it. Alright, so Snurb has revived. It's taken on the power of... Oh! Look at it! Such energy! This is the true power of the crystals! But yeah, now's the point where we just attack. And this is a long phase to get through. Lena in the back row there is going to become my party healer at the moment because she doesn't have anything else to do. She's hanging out in the back row, doing whatever. Tusk confuses, That's not fun. But get out of here, old man. Thanks, Snurb. Okay, I think something I can do if I want to get cheeky. Where is my healing staff? So the healing staff casts a spell when it attacks. This might knock him out of it. I don't quite remember if it does that while healing. Yes, it does. Alright, we're in business. Well, let's give him the knife. Take the knife, stab your best friend. If you weren't me and didn't have a white mage that could heal the entire team, this would be... Ooh! Yeah, this is why this is a rough fight. You can just decide, nah, everybody's at single-digit HP now. And your only counter-argument to this is, I'm gonna drink a bunch of elixirs right now. Because, what's the word I'm looking for? Being able to heal yourself for, like... Normal potions heal you for 50, and that is nowhere near enough to keep you in a fight like this. So, being able to just slap on Kira, heal yourself up for a lot, it really helps. Maelstrom also is strange because it doesn't always hit everyone, but, like, the one thing that really saves you in this fight, like, if you have a knight in this fight, the knight is a class that gets an ability called cover, which allows it to jump in front of any of your other characters to take an attack for them. Everything this boss does is percentile damage, except for its physical attacks, so the knight can just block every single physical attack that would hit party members. And... Snurb! Stop it! Snurb, why you being such a jerk? But yeah, you can sort of cheat by, okay, I can't avoid not healing now. I'd like to do it with Lena, but I need to do it with somebody that's actually useful for dealing damage at the moment. But yeah, with Knight, you can use cover. You can use a command that Knight has called Guard to make it so that they take 0 damage from physical attacks, and then the Knight will just take every single physical attack in the face and protect your party members. All of the damage done to the Knight will be reduced to 0. It's really good. Snurb, stop it. We're gonna get in trouble. But yeah, since my team has Red Mage, which is sort of a mixed physical attacker, this is the best I can do. But Snurb is now defeated. You get 10 AP. And then this guy, which is supposed to be the father of Ferris and Lena, decides to be a big old jerk. Something's bad in controlling him, and not until he yells at his daughters do they finally decide not to protect him. Galif's granddaughter comes back from the other world, riding in on a meteor of her own. She has weird powers that allow her to just break in and do whatever she wants. Yeah, here she is. So, the problem with all these crystals breaking is that it releases the Warlock X-Death. X-Death is chewing the scenery anytime he shows up. He's got a lot of magical power. He can do a lot of things. Such as command what's left of the crystals to just smite us into oblivion. And now he's gone. He's going back to Gallus World to destroy that world too. But, in the meantime, he's just leaving us here. Lena and Ferris's father is trying to restore the crystal to goodness, but he dies in the process. The crystal being good gives us its power. And our final job, Chemist. The overwhelmingly strongest job in the entire game. We have it now. It's Chemist. The raw power to just rewrite the rules, do whatever you want. It's Chemist. You went to college to get a pharmacist degree so that you can do anything you want, whatever your heart desires. Chemist is here. Chemist utterly snaps this game's difficulty in half, and as long as you're willing to go get the ingredients to make it happen. I am not at the moment, so I am not going to swap anybody to Chemist. My team of White Mage, Red Mage, and Chemist will do me fine in the short term. But now we gotta go back and see our nerds again. Oh, lined up. Alright. Because our nerds are on a quest to do something. Actually, swapping Barts to Chemist might be a good idea here, but that'll take effort. I don't particularly need to worry about that at the moment. So, the thing to notice is Galuf is completely out of the party now. He doesn't get anything from encounters that you fight, and this will split up the EXP received across every party member here. This is a reasonable time to grind because it's much better to have a couple of characters that are sort of slingshotted up to godhood as opposed to everybody being the same level. But I'm not going to use this opportunity to do that. I am going to proceed forward with the game normally. Just sort of, do a bunch of stuff that can probably be done now. So, Sid and Mid left a note saying they went back to return the adamantite because it's weird, it's crazy, it pulses with a lot of strange power. So, we need to go and talk to them. See if they're still okay. We don't have an answer on how to get to Galuf's world yet, but Black Chocobo's here. So they're here. They're returning the adamantite. One of the strange things it does is it repowers up the meteorites, which means that we can go to Galuf's world if we take the adamantite and power up every meteorite. But Sid and Mid aren't traveling with us. They've got their own flying chocobo. They're going to fly alongside the airship and just kind of do whatever it is they want. So, we've got an airship of our own. Let's retrace our steps. I need to find... So this is the Waltz meteorite, landed next to the water crystal. And we're just going to go through these boss fights in order. So Sid and Mid just run in, they come back out, and here's the boss. This boss is Parabolos. It is not immune to one of these abilities from White Mage over there. I believe it's confused, didn't do anything, so I think I need to give it Romeo's Ballad. But I think this is a fight that I can easily solve with Bard. Parabolos is thinking. Alright, that was some good thinking we did there. Romeo's Ballad should charm all of them. Okay, it's not... Well... Alright, fine. We'll do it your way. We'll do it the hard way. I have multi-target damage. If you kill one of the Paraboloses, it casts a Rise on everyone else in the party. So it will get all of its dudes back up and pick them up off the ground, and then you'd have to continue the fight. This fight continues until they run out of MP, or until they... what's the word I'm looking for? Until they run out of MP, or until they all cast Self-Destruct on themselves. So the thing to note about Self-Destruct is it does as much damage as they have remaining HP, and Arise brings them all back with full health to continue the fight. So this fight can spiral quickly if you aren't careful, but I have many White Mages. I can pick everyone up off the ground if I so need to. I can't bypass Self-Destruct, still doing a lot of damage, but I can just sort of bring all my party back with the Raise spell. So I'm just going to keep casting Lazara, and eventually this will get me through the fight. Once they're done thinking. So, Parabolos has 1,500 HP per bomb, and a way to just sort of win this fight without doing all that much of anything is you can just sort of wait it out until they all blow each other up, and somebody will be dead at the end of the fight, but it doesn't particularly matter. Self-destruct. Alright, how much do you do? Okay. One more Blizzara would be able to kill them all, but it will... Do I want to do that? Or do I want to wait? Well, that would bring 2 back up. Yeah, I think this is the point where I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to sit here and let them all self-destruct and end the fight. I did enough damage with the multi-target attacks earlier that I can now survive self-destruct, but if you weren't willing to do that, you would have to just sort of sit here while they stare at you until they blow up. Just healing yourself up, using Phoenix Downs to bring you back to life. Phoenix Down is a very expensive item to buy. It costs 1,000 gil, I think, usually, but I don't need to buy any. I just have Rays, and I've heard them enough that they're just going to do a little bit of damage, so yeah. Another way you can do this fight, if you have the Silence spell, you can cast Silence on one of these guys, and then you can hit them and kill them. They won't be able to cast Arise if they are silenced. So, I can just sort of sit back and let them all explode. I don't think White Mage gets Silence? Oh, it does. Okay. Well, that's yet another option in my infinite collection that I can do to deal with this boss. But, I'm just going to do it like this. It's kind of funny to me to watch them just blow up impotently. So, yeah, this is good. Another way this fight works that isn't great, but it works this way. Erase costs a lot of MP to cast, and Self-Destruct, I think, also... Self-Destruct does not cost MP to cast, but, like, any of these individually have... Actually, yeah, maybe I am going to cast Silence, because that'll be a lot quicker than, waiting for this guy to decide he wants to blow up. But yeah, you can, they've only got like 2 or 3 Arises in them before they completely run out of mana. And they can't cast Arise when they are out of mana. So, eventually they just blow up enough that they're done. You just gotta sort of balance yourself as you go through this fight, though. The next meteorite is almost directly westward from where we just were. You can use another tent. And heal up. Save one more time just to be safe. This is a different boss. This is Titan. Titan is another summon monster a la Ifrit that I fought earlier in this stream. Titan on death casts Earthshaker. If I had Mix and Chemist at this point, I could mix Levisalve and give myself Float and become completely immune to it, but that's kind of lame. Don't really want to do that. So I'm just going to continue beating on him as I normally would. You know, what's like the earth-bending power of Chemist if you choose not to use it, but at the same time, like, I just don't feel like it. I think he's also vulnerable to Romeo's Ballad or Alluring Air. I don't remember which one. I think it's Romeo's Ballad. Maybe not. I'll try the other one. He hits reasonably hard with physical attacks. Maybe it is Romeo Ballad. Oh, right! Do I have all of the songs I can get here? No, I can't remember. Let me take a look at this thing list. Right, that's what these... Okay. I thought Romeo's Ballad was Charm. No, it's Stop. So what I can do, if I'm looking to be cheeky, I can stop him right before I cast the spell that kills him. And it will, he won't use his death counter Earthshaker on me. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, that's what Romeo's Ballad does. It does Stop, not Charm. Whoops. Alluring Air is the one that messes with enemy AI. Right. So, how I'm going to structure this, Ferris is just going to use Romeo's Ballad, and then Lena will immediately cast Blizzara, and I'm just going to repeat this until eventually he goes down. Just like that. That's how I prevent Earthshaker. That's how I scam out this fight. Bard, it's a really good class for free, full party stop that is coded specially and will go through people's magic defenses. The only thing about Titan is that... Whoop. Go away. The only problem with Titan is that he is a heavy target, which means that he... there we go. Which means that he unstops himself. He gets going again pretty quick. So you gotta be real quick. Essentially, just with the next command, you gotta enter the attack you were intending to do. Yep. Come on. Any bit of grass that I can land on. Okay. Save. And now for the last boss. This is Drone Chimera. Drone Chimera is an asshole, but like every Chimera in this game, it's vulnerable to status effects. If I had Mix at this point, I could mix Death Potion, and I think that would kill it instantly. If you have a Berserker, Death Sickle will take care of it. Otherwise, you gotta deal with its huge multi-party attacks and just general assholishness. I think I'm good at this point, though, so I'm just gonna sort of start singing. I'm gonna see if he's vulnerable to Romeo's Ballad. He's weak to one of the 3 elements. I don't remember what it is. I think... It's Blizzard? No, he absorbs that. Okay. I need to hit him with one of the other ones. So, let's just sing Romeo's Ballad again. Then I will swap from the Frost Rod to... Let's try the Flame Rod to start. Red, Fyra. I don't think it resists that. Yep. Bartz will just throw up Protect because he can. This boss isn't heavy, so it's vulnerable to these status conditions. And it seems like the one thing he did at the start of the fight is the only thing he's going to do, because I can just repeat this forever. Let's see if he's weaker to Thundara than he was to Fire. Nope. So, yep. Take that. So yeah, Manicore, absolutely cheesed by Bard singing at it. Bard's ability to just completely turn off a couple of bosses is what makes Bard, like, superb. What makes it so good compared to any other job in the game. It's a little bit fragile, but the fact that it can just do this to bosses and random encounters. Like, part of the reason why Final Fantasy V is such a good game is they just allow you to use your weird tricks against bosses, and it feels so good to be able to do that. Like, Bard is amazing because I can just tell these bosses, no. Blue Mage is good because you can just be like, hey, your level is a multiple of 5. Bam, you're dead. It's really cool that Final Fantasy V is willing to let you explore some of the jobs with weird effects as opposed to just the damage ones so that you can get through some of these fights really easy. And yeah, we are nowhere close to the peak power that is Bard, but this is a sufficient demonstration of, like, yeah, Bard's good. This is why it's sort of like my favorite class to get in the fiesta atmosphere, because I can just be like, hey, you suck. Forget you. Stand still. Big jerk. Okay, so Ferris has learned Equip Harps. And let's take one last look to see what that does. Okay, she's got 100 more AP until she learns whatever the last thing is. I'm pretty sure the last command for Bard is Sing, which is, you know, as I've described previously, extremely powerful. I am going to make sure my rod stock is replenished before I leave, because this is my last chance to do so. I have equipped a Thunder Rod, and I'm going to buy 4 Thunder Rods, and then I'm ready to proceed to the rest of the game. Should probably offload a lot of junk I have in the trunk. Okay. Alright, let's buy Thunder Rods. 4. That's good. Sell. And let's get some junk out of here. Don't need daggers anymore. Won't be able to use them besides many people. I won't need the Ashura. That's a katana. I don't have anybody that can equip Hanzo Steel. Don't need the Flame Bow. Don't need the Frostbow. Don't need the Blitz Whip. Don't need the Whip. Don't need the Diamond Bell. Don't need the Moonring Blades. I don't think I have any class that can equip shields. Gonna need leather hats. Gonna need plume hats. The ribbon is only for dancer, otherwise it would be great. So, goodbye ribbon. Goodbye silver plate. Goodbye silk robes. Goodbye cotton robe. Yeah, goodbye gold armor. Goodbye metal glove. Goodbye beef's glove. Goodbye leather shoes. I'll keep the power armlet for a bit. And yeah, I've got a lot of money. This is a team that's not particularly dependent on equipment, so I don't need to buy a lot of money, but like, I can just get a lot of equipment in case I need it. So the next place to go is here, this weird dragon outcropping, where all the power is sort of centrally going to. So I'm going to save, and then I'm going to demonstrate what is here, and then I will probably cut off the stream for the day. Even though there's a lot left in this world, people are deciding, yeah, we need to go to this other world. We need to see what's here. This is Galuf's world. It's a tiny island. Whew, that's great. Well, it's really hard to cross the dimensional boundaries and get here. Let's stop for the night. Let's make some small talk. We're not good at it. We don't know how. Oops, monsters are here. And now Nate is left alone to fend off this abductor. There's no benefit to winning or losing this fight, so I'm just going to keep swinging until eventually he beats me. Hurricane reduces you to single target damage, to single HP, but only targets a single person. He might just be able to do it. If he keeps dodging with that Elven Mantle, the abductor's not going to be able to take him. He's just going to keep beating him with that flail. Come on, Nate. Get him. Yeah. Get him, Nate. Fuck him up. Ah, well, he did his best. Nate is captured and thrown in prison. Here's X-Death. Fortuitous timing. Prepare the giant mirror! Perhaps I should thank you. You're about to become quite useful to me. Meanwhile, at the big bridge. That's far enough, Galuf. One more step and they die! X-Death is great because he is a Saturday morning cartoon villain who just shouts things all the time. Gilgamesh. Watch them, see that they don't try anything. X-Death is really good at sparkle magic. I don't think you ever get access to it, but he can do it. This is the point where Galuf becomes one of my favorite characters in Final Fantasy V. Where he's here, he's gonna take the fight to X-Death, he's gonna jump on a dragon as it's flying along. He is ready for the fight. Here he goes. That's a big bridge. One man assaulting an entire castle by himself. The ripe old age of 69. He can do it. He's gonna pick the fight. You go, old man. So yeah, we're Galuf now. Just Galuf. Here he is, Red Mage. So, that treasure chest right there means that, hey, we've still got all of our items for this, which is very good because Galuf might have some trouble otherwise. Oh, I didn't give him... It might have been good if I gave him an Elven Mantle or the Von Gauche, but nope, he's just got an Ancient Sword, Power Armlet, he's just got all this stuff. If you want to equip all your characters before you go into the the second world here, you have all their items. These are healing springs that Galuf can partake of to keep himself in tip-top shape in case he runs into any trouble. But yeah, next time, the fight will continue in Exodus Castle. World 2, it's the dawn of a new era. Have a nice day, everybody.